Well, you know, a strong, sturdy foundation is just absolutely fundamental in a lot of areas of life, and particularly
Around the house.
Around the house. Yeah, so I asked Cindy Townsend to come and show us a little bit about foundation plants, because I think that can be pretty intimidating when someone, especially if you're putting in a new flower bed or you've got a new home and you really want it to look like it's been there a long time. How do you do it?
Well, you really, that is the first thing that we do for customers, is try to establish what would frame their house. And you've got to go horizontally and vertically. So one of the things that a lot of people are used to talking about, or used to seeing, is boxwoods. They've been around forever. And the neat thing about boxwoods is that they've come a long way. You've got columnar boxwoods, you've got boxwoods that only go 2 feet, you've got variegated green and white, you've got variegated gold and white. You can make spirals out of them, pom-poms, whatever. So the boxwood really is a good mainstay for framing in your house or accenting it, but it's sometimes a little bit boring if that's all you use is boxwoods. So what I wanted to do was bring in some other options for us. Now behind you, Jennifer, is a blue arrow juniper. This is something that you might use at the entryway to say, here's my front door. You might use it to flank windows, or you really need to use something to anchor the end of your house to say, this is the end of the house. What I love about the blue arrow is it's got that Italian cypress look. So it's nice and tall and columnar, and a lot of people worry about their roof line and they say, oh, it's got to be short. Well, really, you really need to go above the roof line a bit and add dimension to your house and add a little bit of character, because it's just kind of like having all your bricks in a row. I mean, it just wouldn't look right if you had everything going straight and linear all the time. So you really want something that'll shoot up. And this is only 2 feet wide, so you can bring it away from the house a little bit so you don't have to worry about your soffit and let it shoot up.
Okay, so this works better than an Italian cypress in Oklahoma climate.
Absolutely, because it is a juniper, and it's a good variety. It's a good genus species. It's Virginiana, so it's a good species for this area, a real tough one. The only thing that has to happen with this is, you see these little wispies that occur? Sometimes you can take those shears and take these wispies off and cause it to be a little bit nicer and tighter, which is what we do for the ones in the front, and it really, really looks nice, and we get a lot of compliments about it.
And this looks like this is a great combination together. Is this a spirea?
Yeah, it is, and a lot of people know about the gold mound spirea, but this one's mellow yellow. Isn't that nice? Mellow yellow. I love that. And it's got that mellow feeling to it. It's got a willow type leaf, so it's really kind of carefree and wispy. Now what this is good for is, like, if you are on the corner of the house and you can handle a little bit of height, then you would use something a little bit soft like this, and this one can get 4 to 5 feet if you let it, if you want it to. But guess what? It's a spirea. If you don't want it to go that tall, then cut it back. It's got the thin branching, so it's real easy to cut it and control it. And as soon as you cut it, it's just going to flush right back out to the size that you want it to be.
Yeah. Well, let's look at some other combinations.
Well, we've got over here, I brought in some abelia. A lot of people want evergreen with flowers, full sun, or even part shade. The abelia really fits that criteria really well. This one is ruby anniversary, so it's got some beautiful ruby color in the buds of the flowers. And the flowers are tubular, which also attract hummingbirds. Now, ruby anniversary is one that can get 4 to 5 feet tall. So if you've got, again, that blank space and there's no windows and you really want to fill that wall a little bit, you could consider something like this. Abelia for us is semi-evergreen. So the mild winter that we had last year, it probably would have stayed evergreen for you. And they do, again, they're weak stemmed, so they're easy to prune and easy to control. And then the Indian hawthorn is always a wonderful addition. Now we're stepping down. We've gone from height and accenting to about 4 to 5 foot range to stepping down to about 3 to 4 foot range. And then this one is a solid evergreen, nice foliage, spring flowers, really, really beautiful for the edge of the house. And then you can bring more color into it. Remember, I like to mix the blues and the golds and the greens with some reds. That's where the barberry comes in. And this is one that I have at my own house. It's called Concord. Only does 2 feet tall, so you really don't have to do a lot of pruning or cleaning to it.
But they do have thorns, so that's, you wouldn't want to put it where a lot of kids are going to be out running around.
Right, but the beauty of this one is it only grows 2 feet tall, so you really don't have to prune it a lot. It'll be back in your bed, and it'll give you that pizzazz of color that you really, really need to add dimension to your bed. And then down here, what better to add with it if you need something ground covery, then you could do something like the Moonshadow Euonymus. And look at the colors and hues in this. Just beautiful, and this is going to just kind of cover the ground. And the beauty behind this one is once you let it get established and get covering, you can take the weed eater to it. and control it and trim it down that way, and maybe take a blower and blow all the leaf debris out of it. So very easy maintenance here.
When I was thinking also it'd keep the weeds down in the flower bed because it's a really tight, compact plant
Right.
that also spreads.
Right. And then let's say you get some Bermuda crawling into the flower bed, well, you can use a product, a grass killer, a grass be gone, or something like that. There's other products also that won't touch the broadleaf, but will kill the grass for you. So again, easy maintenance. And you might space, like these barberries right here are only about 2 feet tall by 2 feet wide. I like the fact that we can put it in between the Indian hawthorns to kind of accent that. You don't have to go 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet. We're not making straight lines. We're just accenting our house and making our house look better. Over here,
Love this combination.
oh, I do too. And here, instead of using the blue arrow, we're using a columnar blue atlas cedar. And what better to use with a blue atlas cedar? Remember, we're talking about leaf texture and color, than something like the sea of gold juniper with a different leaf texture and a wham of color. It's got a really nice color to it. And then, because we do like color in flowers sometimes, this is a Pocomoke crepe myrtle. It's almost the perfect
Really?
crepe myrtle. Yeah, the leaf size is just about perfect. It's got short internodes. It's about 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, so you could plant it 2 to 3 feet apart.
What color are the flowers?
Light pink, or kind of a
Nice.
not a dark pink, but not a. I always sometimes want to lean towards purple, but it's pink. And then I love the color of the stem. So we've got a perfect combination here with virtually no flowers until this one blooms. And the other thing about deciduous material, people always want to use evergreens to accent their house, and they don't understand that if you get enough evergreen in there, then you can bring your wham of color with the barberries or the Pocomoke and get some reds in there without ruining the display and having something to look at. Over here, this is Rosy Glow barberry right here, and look at the color. I don't know if we can focus in on that, but doesn't it look beautiful? It almost glows.
That's fantastic.
Again, it works really well with a column of blue atlas cedar. This one can get about 5 feet tall. So you've got that blank wall again that you need some height. Now you can come down here, but with the Calgary juniper, and this is a new juniper for us.
It feels softer than some of the others.
Oh, it's beautiful, and it's only 6 to 8 inches tall. So again, you've got something that it can go 5 to 6 feet wide if you let it, and it'll be a nice ground cover for your bed, and works wonderfully with the barberry. And then if you need a little bit taller, you can do the prostrate abelia. This one's 18 to 24 inches. So again, this one has white flowers instead of red or pink. Again, you've got the red stems with the add a little character, the small leaf.
I like the combination of the barberry with it. That it almost has kind of a lamb's ear look to it.
This is one of my favorite shrubs. This is called Iliagnus, and this one really is a multi-purpose shrub. You can keep it at 5 feet or 6 feet if you want, so you can fill that blank. Let's say you have a red wall and you need something to accent that. In the fall, it has little flowers that you don't see, and it has a heavenly smell. It's
Great.
wonderful.
Cindy, thanks for giving us so many great ideas. And Linda Shackelford, our garden guru, will be up next to answer your garden questions. So stay with us.